Hi guys, this is Connect the Dots Part 93, short and sweet. If you have not watched Parts 1 through 92, you're probably not going to understand this video, but I encourage you to, because if you want to learn about finance and how it's being manipulated by private equity firms onto publicly traded companies for their outcomes. I found something. Well, Reese Politics, post a lot of stuff every now and then. And maybe he doesn't know what he posted. But he posted here, he says, meet one of GameStop's bondholders. And this is Skyana Management. I don't know how to say their name, but they have a large put position, 3.5 million puts. Massive, gigantic put position. And this is where we start talking about bond arbitrage, right? They're just going to make money top and bottom of the stock and just keep it right where it's at, pinning it down. Who is Skyana Management? Did anybody go find out? I don't think you know what you have here, Reese. But, this is working theory of mine. And it's absolutely working. Skyana Management has 5 employees, guys. Total staff, 5, right above me. So, they have an investment team since 2020. Timeline works out. You go over here, and you can look at their holdings, believe it or not. When I looked at their holdings, I wonder if I can make this bigger for you. So they have, just so that we're clear, Core Scientific is one of their bigger holdings. And that's weird because they just got bought out, or presentation of a buyout from CoreWeave. And so if you had the information before everyone else, this would be ideal to be in, right? They also own Series A mandatory conversions on Apollo Global Management. Like, Apollo, the company itself, is one of their biggest investments. They own Apollo? Okay, I'm with you. KKR, sure. But these are the guys as I go through. I mean, they own pretty much everything that's talked about on the internet. No, Ares. Hey, Apollo, KKR, and Ares. They own. I just leave it alone. Of course, here's GameStop, and they sold out of their position. But then they have all the puts and whatever they're doing. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But who the hell are they? Can we ask ourselves that question? As I went through and I started reading stuff, it was really weird. Last year, their assets under management went from 500 million to 5 billion in a flash, and it went back down to where they were their whole career. So somewhere, somebody parked $5 billion worth of assets with them. Just so happens the timeline, right? I mean, 2024. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. I'm tripping. Somebody just walks over, instead of you being worth like 300 million, we're gonna have $5 billion over here. No big deal. We just got to figure it out. So the main guy over here I was looking at, Chief Investment Officer, Managing Partner, is Dan Katzner. I was like, Dan Katzner. Okay, let's check you out, Dan. How you doing, man? Where you come from? What do you do? And it tells you here his history. He was on the convertible trading from 1989 to 2001. Tucker Anthony. But that's a little misleading. That's a little misleading because the Tucker Anthony building has never left. It never stopped. Tucker Anthony, if you look here, it'll tell you Tucker Anthony was acquired by the Royal Bank of Canada, and then they merged, right? But I looked at the address, same address for the last 30 years, 40 years. Cool. I get it. Right here. Thomas H. Lee and Partners in 98, Tucker Anthony completed a $120 million IPO going public in the stock exchange. But they were actually bought out from John Hancock, leverage buyout, right? The management firm was led in leverage buyout that was known, Tucker Anthony Strew, whatever it's called, from John Hancock with the support of private equity firm Thomas H. Lee. We've talked about that. But it's weird because this company, Tucker Anthony, turned into the Royal Bank of Canada, or they were acquired by the Royal Bank of Canada, I should say. And Royal Bank of Canada always comes up, the RBC, comes up all the time on the desk. And here's why, and I never knew why. I went in here and I read it. Jim Wing, he's the Senior Vice President, Financial Advisor, Senior Portfolio Manager for the Royal Bank of Canada. Hey, guys, do you ever see where he's from? Well, Jim has been with the RBC management since they were acquired Tucker Anthony in 2001, where he began in 1989. Jim started his career as accountant executive at E.F. Hutton. He moved to Drexel Burnham Lambert, where he headed up Institutional Services Group in New England. Right there. That's where he moved to. So it was weird. You had Tucker Anthony, who developed in 1989, and all these guys worked there. They came from Drexel. There's just no way that you can say that it's Guyana. And I looked everywhere. I looked at the address. That hasn't changed over all the years. 921 President Street, which is still today their address. Tucker Anthony to Guyana Partners. Got it. But I wasn't looking at this employee called Dan Katzner, who actually came from Tucker Anthony, right? He came from Tucker Anthony via these guys. Now he's here. Same address, okay? I'm looking at this guy, Jeffrey Walker. Jeffrey Walker is the partner, portfolio manager of Scanner Management. When I looked it up, he's the founder. He's one of the founders, one of the five. Now I looked it up. I looked at everything here. Vice President at Tucker Anthony. Right here. Vice President Tucker Anthony. All right, can you guys see that? Zoom in. So, he's the Vice President of Tucker Anthony in 89. Remember, my whole theory is that it's a bunch of Drexel guys and coming in and doing private equity and making bets against companies. Oh, I'll explain all that. Don't worry. This gentleman, as you look at it here, sorry, I got you guys. Yeah, Drexel. Okay? Drexel. Skyana Partners. The actual founders, everybody who's there. Drexel. Tucker Anthony, Drexel, Robin Canada. It's okay. It's all connected, right? If you understand the network. All right, here's the working theory, and I hope you guys have seen all the other videos. You have private equity firms that target companies. They manufacture the outcomes. They plant people on the boards, and they bankrupt companies. Got it. They've been doing it for a long time, 40, 50 years. Playbook from KKR all the way to now. And when you look at Drexel and how they did it, and how the ties with the Milken Institute to educate everyone on the same path. Everyone has the same ideas. You know, they're going to strip down companies, carve them out, ship them out. That's what they do. Leverage them on debt. It's not their money. It's your money. It's people's money. Borrowed money. Bankrupt them and rinse and repeat. Now we put this playbook out in the public, put out in the open, and everyone has gotten real quiet. But every single investment I see come across the desk, this is what they're doing. So it just so happens these guys are the same dudes that are holding the stock down with a leverage position. Deploy every tactic you can, please, when it comes to GameStop. They bet against every single company out there in the world, and they won every single transaction. They've won every fight in the world. They've never beaten GameStop, and they attacked it. Private equity has tried. They had people on the board of directors. They have done every consulting firm come through. Every single analyst is bought and paid for. No one's talking. Guys, if we're so wrong about GameStop and private equity coming in and manipulating outcomes and everything, why are there zero analysts covering GameStop? Zero. The one is Wedbush, who's already had a short position, reportedly $1 billion in 2021, and they're giving it price points of $6, $13. Ridiculous, considering the cash, considering they make profits and everything else. Who cares? I'm telling you what it is, and we've been right since the beginning. Private equity came in and beat up every other company, and they got it wrong. And somewhere out there, there's some risk floating around. And right here, they parked it in there for $5 billion, pulled it back out. These are Drexel boys. That's what they are. It's the same connection every single time. Drexel Burnham Lambert to Apollo to you. That's what it's been. When you saw AMC, when you saw Bed Bath & Beyond, all these connecting dots still happen. You could still get right back to Drexel. You can still get right back to Apollo. You can still get right back to private equity. You leverage, you manipulate, You force your outcomes, and Ryan Cohen beat you. So in the words of Ryan Cohen, let him short. Peace.